And morning, YouTube. I call it a good morning because I've been up since 2 a.m. Thanks to an old friend called Uncle Arthur. Decided to wake me up and keep me up last night and all through the morning, so I've not really had much sleep today, or than last night, whatever you want to call it. But I'm blessed to be awake, so count my blessings where they may fall. But TGIF, thank goodness it is Friday. Friday. That brings us close to the end of the week. See, and as we draw to a close, hope everybody has a blessed and wonderful day. Hopefully my day will get a little better as far as pain relief goes. Like I said, woke up at 2 o'clock this morning with my back screaming on fire and said, get up. So I got up, went to the living room, sat in my easy chair. Dozed off a few times, but dozing off and quality sleep are 3 different things. Anybody know, if those who got arthritis, you know the drill. But yesterday we had a good conversation, good subject, had a lot of good feedback from several of the viewers out there. Appreciate everybody giving me their thoughts on what we were talking about yesterday on the school lunch programs and your observations. I really do appreciate that. Like I said, that was just a subject that was kind of near and dear to me, given the fact that, I just don't think any child should go to school and be hungry. Well, this stupid tripod again. About to take it and toss it out the window. Maybe I'll figure out how to edit this out. Go from there. There we go. Well, it's Friday, but it sure is acting like a Monday. Hopefully it'll stay in place this time. But anyway, sorry about that. Well, like I said though, folks, don't think any child should go hungry at school. Just no excuse for it in this nation we live in. And again, like I said, I had a lot of good feedback from all y'all out there. Of interest. Train of thought. No, you have to forgive me, I can't remember the name. I have to go back and look in the comments. But I'm sort of trying to remember which individual commented, stated their mother was born in 1933 and how they were still able to eat in school. Likewise, my mother was born in 31, my dad was born in 1922, and whatever their parents fixed for them to go to lunch, that's what they took to school and ate. My mom was a little better off than my dad, as my mom's father had a occupation and brought home a regular wage. Where my dad, his daddy died when he was 6, and my grandmother did what she could to earn money to keep her kids fed. Sometimes they didn't always eat as well as they could have. So again, something near and dear to my heart, hearing my mom and dad talk about growing up in the Depression, that kind of thing. But anywho, it's TGIF and it's Fun Friday. hope everybody, like I said, has a great day and a great weekend coming up. Next week's Halloween, so for all you that are going to take your children out, trick or treat or trunk or treat, or whatever you do for that particular festivity, just be careful, be safe. You know, if you're going to be out in the neighborhoods walking around, make sure your youngins have got some high-vis stuff on and some glow sticks and some flashlights and that kind of thing. Whatever you do, don't go to one of them cities that done passed the law that if you're over 14, you can get arrested for trick-or-treating. Oh, yeah, there we go again. You know, I forget what city it is, but they've passed an ordinance that no one over the age of 14 can trick-or-treat. And I get it, you know, you get a certain age, but still, you're going to stop every kid in a costume that looks like they're over 14? And another thing, who has an ID at 14 years of age to determine how old they, you know, to show proof how old they are? That's funny. Fun Friday. I heard that one in the news and I thought that was just downright ridonkulous. Arrest a kid 14 years old for trick or treat. I can see you arrest them for smashing pumpkins in people's yards and stuff, but for trick or treating, you know, yeah, at that age they ought not be. But you know what? That's up to the homeowner when they go knock on the door and the door opens. They say trick or treat. The homeowner's the one that ought to determine whether, hey, yeah, I'm going to give you some candy or I'm not. And if they're older siblings taking younger siblings around, a lot of times people will get the older sibling candy anyway. I know I did. So I don't know why it's just a frivolous law to be put on the books. You know, that's probably a 20 or 30 minute debate that was wasted in whatever city that was, town meeting or, you know, city council meeting. It's kind of like some of them stupid laws that are on the books, like you can't tie your horse outside on Sunday, and can't spit on the sidewalk on Saturday, and, you know, stupid laws like that. There used to be a law, and I forget what state it was in, said you couldn't beat your wife on Sundays. Okay, I guess, you know, Monday through Saturday is okay to beat a wife? I don't know, you know. The whole thing is you shouldn't be beating your wife anyway. Or spouse. I know some men that get beat by their wives. And, they've had a hard time admitting to it. Anyway, if you go on my Teespring site today too and use the code FLASH, you get 10% off on any of those t-shirt orders. I've got a notification from Teesprings about that, so I figured I'd share that with you. But fall is in the air. It's finally coming. It looks like they're getting ready to start harvesting soybeans around here, I think. That'll be cool, because then my fields will be fallow for the remainder of winter. Got to talk to the guy that farms my property and see if I can get him to put corn in next year. Need some cornfields around the house. Just 'cause. But I think we're supposed to get some rain. See, I'm still yawning. I think we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow. Maybe some today. That might be one reason my back's killing me, along with my knees and my ankles. This late in the year, getting rain, you know, sometimes it's hit or miss when the farmers get the rain, and, you know, sometimes they want it sooner and they get it later, and sometimes they need it later and they get it sooner. But I think this year they're better off than they were 2 years ago after the hurricanes hit, and a lot of the beans stayed in the field until January. Because the ground was just too wet to harvest them. So, passing good old Piggly Wiggly. One of my favorite spots to go grocery shopping. In the town of St. Paul's, North Carolina. Time change coming up next month. Finally. Well, it seems like it used to be time change was in October. Now it's November. Really, I think they ought to abolish daylight savings time. Just adjust yourself to when the sun comes up and the sun goes down. That's what most farmers do anyway. There's a time and place for it, but I don't think we need it anymore. I think we just got so accustomed to using it. But yeah, that time of the year, folks. That time of the year. But another thing I'll talk about this morning, outside of the school lunch program for kids that need to eat, establishing some type of agriculture and horticulture program for them in school. We need to start encouraging our kids to get into the trades. Let me tell you why. North American Free Trade Agreement got signed. And as Ross Perot said, you hear that sucking sound? That's all the manufacturing industry leaving the United States, going out the door. The economy's starting to pick back up. Manufacturing's starting to pick back up in the United States. And you can give whatever credit to whatever president you want to. Bottom line is, companies are starting to come back to the U.S. and pick up manufacturing. The problem is, when NAFTA came into place, there was the big push in high schools to get every kid to go to a 4-year college. Now, we all know that didn't happen, but that was the push. And for those that just weren't going to go to a 4-year school, it's kind of like efforts dropped off to put them in some type of trade program, some type of skills-based program, whether Job Corps, push them to the armed forces, or a 2-year technical institute of some sort. So I fall into a category where I'm teaching in an industrial technologies program at the school I teach at. When I decided to go back to school 2 years ago, part of the reason was because there is a shortage in people in the qualified trades. Electrical, plumbing, welding, maintenance. Maintenance is the biggest one right now. And you're asking me, what are you talking about, old soldier? You've got plant technicians, maintenance technicians that are retiring. And there's nobody coming behind them per se that has their knowledge to continue to work on this equipment. There is a shortage nationwide of people in these qualified trades. But you've still got high schools trying to push kids into a 4-year college to get a degree, and getting a 4-year degree is a guarantee of a good job. I heard that so much when I was a recruiter. It wasn't even funny. My kid's going to go get a 4-year degree and get a good job. A 4-year degree does not guarantee a good job. Does it help? Oh, certainly, if you get the right degree. Well, what do you mean you get the right degree? Well, folks, I'm going to tell you, if you go get a 4-year degree in basket weaving, I don't know where you're going to find a place that's going to utilize that skill set to where you can make a living. I'm just putting it out there. Okay? You go get a degree in art appreciation. Again, I don't know where you're going to use that degree to make a living. Don't get me wrong. If that's what somebody desires to go and do, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you need to have a skill that you can bring something home, keep a roof over your head, and food on your table, okay, and take care of your bills. So again, the trade skills. And like I said, not every child is going to go to a 4-year school. Not every young person's going to go in the armed forces. But you have to groom them. You have to cultivate them. You have to develop that interest into what they want to do. And I'm telling you, some young people today, that's a hard thing to figure out. I'm just putting it out there. Some people just don't know what they want to do, and that's fine. But we still need to try and encourage them to learn a skill, even if it's just a 1-year diploma or certificate in a particular trade or skill set. All right. Now, when I say trade, I'm also inclusive of the IT field. That's another big growing area. When I say IT field, I mean like computer networking, computer security, engineering, as far as laying out how you want to install a computer system within a facility or a computer network. So that was the other thing I'd drive me up the wall when I was a recruiter. I want them to learn how to work on computers, or work with computers, do computers. What do you mean by, well, they're sitting at a desk working on a computer. Well, that could be, 200 million different types of jobs. Well, like at the hospital, the person behind the desk, they're on a computer. Well, no, the computer is a tool of their trade. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that, they're using the computer to input data. That does not mean they work on computers. And some people were so dense you couldn't get them past that just because there's a computer at a desk, the person works on computers. No, that person is a clerk, that person is a technician, that person, whatever the case may be, the computer is nothing more than a tool for them to input data into a particular format or software. But some people would get it. But my point being is, even a medical receptionist, a medical technologist, they use computers in their job, but that doesn't mean they work on computers. But those programs themselves require a certain skill set, and people have to know how to approach that. They need to know what they need to do to get those skills. A lot of community colleges offer medical technology specialist training. Matter of fact, nowadays, most of them, medical techs, they're going to do the data entry. A lot of them are going to do the initial triage, and some of them even going to do the draw the blood. Okay, why? Because it's cheaper for a doctor to hire one person with 3 skills than it is to hire 3 people with 3 separate skills. Just like in the industrial technologies field. In the industrial technologies field, the industrial maintenance program, it trains students in electrical, plumbing, welding, and the basics of maintenance. With that being said, you get a person that has training in 3 different fields as opposed to 3 different people in 3 separate fields. So you have to take that into consideration. It's cheaper to hire somebody that has 3 different bases as opposed to somebody that doesn't, that only has X, Y, and Z. So those are some things to factor in, folks. Those are some things to factor in when you're encouraging a young person who's not sure what they want to do. Case example, Fox Business News a few weeks ago put out a report that electricians can start to look to make 6-digit salaries by 2020, 2021. Now that's not coming right out of school, but at a journeyman level. You've been in the field 4, 5, 6 years, and you've apprenticed your way up to a journeyman level. You've apprenticed your way up to a journeyman level. You can look to make a 6-digit salary. Where somebody coming out of, say, a 4-year college with, let's say, a business management degree might only be making a mid to high 5-digit salary. Trade skills. There's such a shortage that the demand is out there. Okay? Just food to think about, folks. Especially if you got young people that are getting ready to graduate high school. That's something you might want to consider letting them look into is the trade programs. Okay? One thing's for another one. HVAC. Around this area, HVAC is with all the businesses that pop up with people getting into it, there never seems to be enough HVAC technicians around when you need one. And I will tell you where they're really hurting in this area is just people to come do the service work. Okay? You can always get somebody to come put in a system. They want the big jobs, but getting that same company to come and service your unit, their technicians are always busy. That's another field if you can get into. You can make a lot of money. So, I know I've kind of rambled all over the page this morning, folks. Cause like I said, I've been up since 2 o'clock this morning. My bones are hurting. And of course, my camera fell over on my tripod when I turned the other, coming back out on 301. It happens. But anyway. I hope everybody has a great and wonderful day. Again, as always, charities, I'd ask you to support ThoughtsOfAnOldSoldier.org, pin-ups for vets and ballots for veterans. They can't do it by themselves, and anything that you could give them would certainly help them, and they'd be appreciative. I would too. Vendors, I'd ask you to help out. Money Quick Pawn in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area. That's where I go to for all my firearms and ammunition needs in this area. Robert's Custom Woodwork, Unsung Patriot. Go check them out. And like I said, if you like my poetry and you haven't got one of my books, order one today. And my t-shirts today, if you use code FLASH, capital, all capital, you get 10% off your purchase. So go check that out. So, again, we're going to try and do one tomorrow. No promises. But just depending on what Mrs. Old Soldier's got me doing. I got a honey-do list about yay long. So, God bless, take care, and until next time we meet, it's Old Soldier out.